What's up, everybody? It's KZMMA here. Long time no see. We finally got the UFC back in our lives. It's been a long 6 weeks. It's been rough, but we're back. We're going to get right into it here. We got UFC 324, Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje to look forward to in the main event. I'm going to be going ahead and breaking down every single fight on this card, starting with the early prelims, making my way all the way up to the main event. Your boy's over here stuttering and stumbling over his words. It's been a little while since we made a UFC predictions video. You know, it's been over a month and a half. See, boy's a little rusty. Cut me some slack. But the analysis is still here. The picks are still here. We're still good with all that shit. So let's go ahead and get right into it. We've got Ty Miller versus Adam Fugitt. The pick is going to be Ty Miller. Ty Miller's 25 years old. Long and lanky. He's got decent hands, decent chin on him. Striking defense is okay, but he can take a shot. He's got a good jab as well. Adam Fugitt, 37 years old. A little washed, I would say, coming off of a KO loss to Islam Dulatov. And yeah, Ty Miller versus Adam Fugitt, spelt Fugitt. This is a matchup between a guy that's coming in off of Dana White Contender Series, 25 years old, getting better every single day against a washed, 37-year-old unk in Adam Fugitt. The pick is definitely going to be Ty Miller here. He's got solid boxing, good pressure, good cardio, solid defense. Adam Fugitt is decent everywhere. He's well-rounded. And they're feeding Adam Fugitt to this kid so that he can get a good win. Like at the end of the day, the matchmakers are trying to give Ty Miller a layup, and this is just his job to make it into the basket here. One thing I didn't really like is that how easily he was giving up takedowns on Dana White Contender Series. But it's not like Adam Fugitt's some kind of standout elite wrestler or grappler. So I see Ty Miller utilizing his pressure striking on the feet here to win a decision, maybe even get a TKO here over Adam Fugitt, who is on the decline, 37 years old, not getting any better. Ty Miller, the sky's the limit for this kid. He's just going to keep getting better, and he's going to come in and get a good, solid win here, I feel like, in the first fight of his UFC career, making good on the debut. Up next, we got Ricky Turcios versus Cameron Smotherman. Honestly, I feel like if Cameron Smotherman has even an ounce of potential in the UFC, he's going to be able to beat Ricky Turcios here. It's just Ricky Turcios, man. He's a scrappy dude. He's got high output. He's got a high output fighting style, good scrambling ability. He's got a lot of heart. But it's just when it comes to him, his skills technically, he's just not very good. Like his distance management on the feet while striking is very bad. You can see that in the Amin Zahabi fight. Granted, Zahabi has actually proven himself to be very good, and that loss has aged well for Ricky Turcios. It's just that Ricky Turcios' performance in that fight was so fucking abysmally bad that it's hard to pick him against anyone halfway decent, which I feel like Cameron Smotherman is. Something concerning is that Cameron Smotherman does have pretty low output, but that was against a better fighter in Ricky Simone, as well as Surrey City. One thing, Ricky will fight for your money. He goes in there and he fights hard. He might win just based off of output alone, making Cameron Smotherman uncomfortable, just staying in his face. Reminiscent of a Danny Barlow versus a Jordan Santos fight, where one guy has the skills, but the other guy just has the grit and the heart. But I wouldn't bet on either fighter in this matchup, but the pick is going to be Smotherman. I just feel like he's the better athlete and the more skilled fighter. He should be able to get this done. I'm picking him by decision. Ricky Turcios, he's a tough dude. He's a scrappy dude, but I just don't feel like he's that good technically. You know what I'm saying? I do like him, though. He has a good personality, but personality doesn't win fights, Now, up next, we got Josh Hokit versus Denzel Freeman. The pick here is going to be Josh Hokit. I feel like he's a solid wrestler with fast and powerful hands. He's an athletic dude. He played in the NFL, or he was drafted to the NFL, something about that. He was an NFL player, essentially. So he's an athletic dude for the heavyweight division. He's got fast hands. Denzel Freeman's coming off of one of the most dog shit fights you'll ever see in your life. So, the UFC is setting him up to be punished by someone actually marketable in Hokit. Freeman won't have the luxury of fighting someone that's not actually going to fight him, like his last opponent, Marek Bujlo. Hokit has an aggressive fighting style. He looks for a finish. I see Hokit getting a TKO here, most likely in round one. He's the superior wrestler. I'm sure he has the faster hands. Power might be comparable, but I feel like Hokit's going to be able to land first and land clean and get Denzel Freeman out of there. Josh Hokit, I feel like he's a pretty special fighter in the heavyweight division. Future champ? No, I mean, I'm not saying that he's he's definitely top 10 material. That's what I'll say. He's a lighter guy for the division. But that lack of fat is going to make him a lot faster up at heavyweight. So, I like him here to get it done by stoppage for sure. Maybe ground and pound, or just, he puts him out on the feet, follows up with some ground and pound. I like Hokit by stoppage here. Heavy. TKO specifically. Now we've got Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. This is a fucking Reebok era ass fight. You know what I mean? A 2019 ass fight. Michael Johnson fights are hard to predict, man. He'll KO Francis Ngannou and then get submitted by Carla Esparza. Like, this fucking guy is just, he's hit or miss, honestly. But the pick here is going to be Alex Hernandez. I do think that he's going to be able to, he's more in his prime than Michael Johnson, who did look good out in his last fight against Zellhuber. But Zellhuber, I think that he's actually just kind of overrated, to be honest, based on that performance. While it was an impressive win for Michael Johnson, Alexander Hernandez is not going to have that same kind of inability of boxing with him, or that fear of boxing with him. Alexander's going to be able to be good enough to win this year and keep himself safe on the feet. Michael Johnson was just able to bully Daniel Zellhuber by throwing hard, flurrying punches, catching him to the body, even catching him to his back, as like Zellhuber was just kind of like getting out of range. And Zellhuber was just trying to utilize a kicking-based game plan, wasn't letting his hands go at all. So yeah, Michael Johnson looked good in that fight, but Zellhuber also just looked fucking bad. So Alexander Hernandez is on a 4-fight winning streak, coming off of 2 TKO wins over Chase Hooper and Diego Fajeda. Johnson's on a 3-fight winning streak, 2 decisions and 1 TKO. Both guys are well-rounded UFC vets. They've been in the game for a long time. Michael Johnson longer than Hernandez, but Hernandez, like I said, is a bit more in his prime of the two. Both guys have fast hands, but I think that Hernandez's footwork and counters will be the difference maker here over Michael Johnson, who is 39 years old, turning 40 soon here this year. So I like Alexander Hernandez here in this one. I think that he gets it done, most likely by decision. Both of these guys are capable of knocking the other one out. Both guys have gotten knocked out before. Both guys have a lot of knockout wins. But I like Alexander Hernandez here, most likely by decision, or KO points is what I'm liking on that one. Now we've got Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. The pick here is going to be Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson is a lock here for me. Alex Perez is 1-5 in his last 6 fights, and Charles Johnson is 5-1 in his last 6 fights. That one loss coming to a currently suspended steroid cheat in Ramazan Temirov. So yeah, Alex Perez got injured against Tatsuro Taira, but Alex Perez looked good in his comeback against Asu Almabayev before getting submitted by him early in round 3. But Almabayev does not have the same kind of striking as Charles Johnson, not even close. Charles Johnson, I think that him and his stupid ass haircut can keep this fight on the feet and beat the shit out of Alex Perez for as long as this fight lasts. Johnson has good cardio, great cardio, really. He's a 5-round fighter that's stuck fighting 3-round fights. He's got powerful hands for a flyweight. He's knocked out Lonir Kavanaugh, a prospect on the rise, knocked out Joshua Van, current champion, as controversial as that championship win was. Fluke injury isn't a fucking win. But yeah, I see Johnson being the more dangerous fighter here, catching Perez with counters as he tries to close the distance, piecing him up from long range. Alex Perez is probably going to look to wrestle here, and Johnson has solid takedown defense. He should be able to keep this on the feet. Please, for the love of fucking God, don't knock out Joshua Van and Lonir Kavanaugh just to lose to Alex fucking Perez. Like, come on now. Charles Johnson should get this done here. He's got the skills. He's got the ability. He's got the hands. He's got the power. Please, fucking win this fight, bro. Please, come on. You got this shit, Charles Johnson. All right. We got Ateba Gautier versus... Oh, nope, my bad. My notes are all scrambled up. We got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. So my pick here is going to be Modestas Bukauskas. Nikita Krylov, both guys are well-rounded, but I feel like Modestas is on a roll here. Modestas is currently on a 4-fight winning streak, 3 of them via finish. Krylov is currently on a 2-fight losing streak, being knocked out in the first round of both fights. Krylov's last win came in 2023 over a notoriously shitty Ryan Spann. Krylov is, he's very dangerous, but I just think that Modestas is coming into his own, and he should be the more primed fighter of the two coming into this fight. Both guys are well-rounded and dangerous in all striking ranges, but I like Modestas here. I like his footwork. I like his counter-striking ability. I don't like how hesitant he was to kind of throw against Paul Craig on the feet. Like, he was giving Paul Craig way too much respect. But Krylov is susceptible to counters as he aggressively comes forward with his hands down. Modestas has good footwork. He should be able to stay away from Krylov and make him pay as he comes forward aggressively. Now it might be a little bit harder for Modestas to make to knock Krylov out in round one, like Dominic Reyes and Bogdan Guskov were able to. I'm sure that Krylov has made adjustments and improvements to his defense and his game planning after basically losing the same way twice. But, the path to victory is there for Modestas if he can exploit that consistent hole that we've seen in Krylov's defense, that defensive lapse that he has as he comes forward and he just eats that straight hand. So Modestas, that counter shot is there. It's just up to him to try and land it, to throw it, and to believe in his hands. So, yeah, I got Modestas Bukauskas here. Potentially maybe a decision, maybe a KO as well. He's got good power. But yeah, now we've got Ateba Gautier versus Andrey Pulyaev. This is another squash match for Ateba Gautier. Pulyaev is a little bit of an improvement. He's a bit of a step up in competition than Robert Valentin and Jose Medina, who have not had any UFC wins yet. Pulyaev at least has one UFC win, but that's over Nick Klein, who doesn't have any UFC wins himself. So yeah, Ateba Gautier versus Andrey Pulyaev, another squash match for Gautier. And a fucking fun fact, an insane fact, is that Ateba Gautier is actually younger than Joshua Van, which is insane based on the difference in their physicalities. Like, fucking Gautier is built like an absolute freak, bro. The guy's built like Shaka Zulu's great-great-grandson. Motherfucker is gigantic. Middleweight Ngannou. He's got good patience. He's extremely powerful, extremely African. And Pulyaev is just outgunned here, bro. Like, Ateba Gautier is built different, bro. That motherfucker is ridiculous. Like, bro looks like a fucking He-Man action figure. I'm very jealous. But yeah, not like I said, Pulyaev is a slight step up in competition from the guys that Gautier has been fighting. And, a debuting Tristan Vine, like I mentioned, Jose Medina and Valentin. Pulyaev at least has one win. He's a solid kickboxer who was able to go to a decision against Christian Leroy Duncan in a pretty boring clinch-heavy fight from Duncan. Duncan was able to kind of hurt him towards the end of the fight. But yeah, Gautier all day here. He's a minus 1,000 favorite. Like, I'm not telling anybody anything fucking special here. He should be able to get another highlight for the reel here. Gautier all day. Speaking of another fight with disgusting odds, we've got Deiveson Figueiredo versus Umar Nurmagomedov. The odds, I feel like, are a little bit disrespectful on this one. That's not me saying that I'm going to pick Figueiredo. But, Figueiredo, he's on the older end. He's not in his prime anymore. Deus de Guerra. Umar is somehow an even bigger favorite than Ateba Gautier. But yeah, like I said, I'm not picking Figueiredo, but the odds are just downright disrespectful. Figgy's very well-rounded, solid punching power, good submissions, but the disparity in the wrestling will just be too much here. Umar will most likely win a control-based decision, with Figueiredo not being able to stop the takedown, not being able to get up. Mario Bautista, he's a bigger, younger, and a better wrestler than Figueiredo, who's 38 years old, and Umar was able to wrestle and control him to a decision win. So they're just trying to give Umar a layup here just so he can fight for the title next off of a good performance. Umar should be able to open up a little bit more on the feet than he was against Bautista, because Mario at this point is more dangerous than Figueiredo is in the striking department. But Umar doesn't really take risks in his fights, and he's most likely just going to win by decision here, or maybe even a submission. But yeah, I'm expecting a very boring 30-27 from Umar Nurmagomedov. He's just going to take Deiveson Figueiredo down, lay and pray, win a decision. Pretty cut and dry fight here. He's a fucking minus 1,200 favorite. Like, get out of here. All right. Now a little bit less of a squash match. She's a heavy favorite though. Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. I got Natalia Silva here all day. Natalia Silva, she's a very special striker, man. Her footwork is fucking immaculate. Her strikes are fast and snappy. She's got great counters, great variety of taekwondo kicks to the legs, body, head, side kicks, round kicks, front kicks, spinning kicks. She's great at cutting angles and landing punches off of those angles. Her boxing counters are clean. They have solid pop on them. Alexa Grasso is a good boxer, and Natalia Silva just had her looking like a dummy on the feet in their fight. Very impressive performance from her. Watching it back, Natalia Silva really fucked Alexa Grasso up, so it was very impressive. beating Alexa Grasso up that way. Valentina Shevchenko wasn't able to, beat Alexa Grasso up on the feet like that. She had to rely on her wrestling and her takedowns. So very impressive striking from Natalia Silva. She's in her absolute prime right now, only 28 years old, turning 29 next month in February. So yeah, I think that she's going to have a great performance against an unreliable and inconsistent Rose Namajunas. Rose in her own right is a very good striker, good grappler, but I think Natalia Silva is really something special in this women's division with her movement and footwork. Like the lateral movement is great. She's great at just changing directions, great at landing shots, great at counters. I see Rose chasing her around, getting frustrated, not being able to land the shots that she wants to land in the fight. And she's not really going to have much help in her corner in between rounds from Pat Barry either, because whenever he's in the corner, his advice is pretty fucking abysmal. So Natalia Silva should be able to keep it on the feet and win a kickboxing battle. Rose is probably going to try to implement some grappling in this fight, but, Natalia Silva was looking good in defensively grappling against Alexa Grasso. So I like Natalia Silva here. I feel like she's a fucking lock. She's minus 440, so it's not like you're getting much value on her anyways, but she definitely should win this fight. She's a good parlay piece. I'm very high. She's a high confidence pick, Natalia Silva is. I would be shocked if Rose beat her, to be honest. But yeah, now we've got Arnold Allen versus Jean Silva. This is a sick-ass fight. This is where it's getting interesting. No more squash matches like Gautier, Pulyaev, and Umar, Figueiredo. My pick here is going to be Jean Silva. Arnold Allen does not have the same kind of grappling as a Diego Lopez to take Jean Silva down and beat him up from top position. He also does not have the same kind of chin as Diego Lopez to withstand those absolutely thunderous shots that Silva was able to land on Lopez throughout that second round. This will most likely be a kickboxing match, and the slickness, reflexes, power, and variety of strikes that Jean Silva shows is just going to be too much for me to look past here. He is coming off of a pretty bad loss, but I just think, I don't know, man. Arnold Allen, he's a really good fighter. He's only lost to the best guys in the division, those being Max Holloway and Movsar Evloev. But he had a tit-for-tat fight against Giga Chikadze. I don't know, man. With that Jean Silva-Diego Lopez fight, I really think that Diego Lopez surpassed all expectations, and he just had an incredible performance against Jean Silva. Arnold Allen, he doesn't have that same kind of wrestling. He doesn't have those same takedowns, that same top control. He has a very meat and potatoes striking style. Nothing fancy, solid fundamentals. He's got good boxing, good footwork, good kicks. He's fast, athletic, and strong. This isn't going to be an easy fight for Silva by any means. I know people are on the Allen side. I'm not saying that you're crazy, but I like Jean Silva's diversity of strikes and his fluidity of his combinations. He has really good counters. As Arnold Allen comes pressuring forward, I feel like Jean Silva is going to be able to land and make him pay. I don't think that Arnold Allen is going to fall into those little bullshit mind games that Jean Silva likes to play, like, oh, high five, oh, I'm smiling and laughing. Like, I think that Arnold Allen is going to tune all that out. He's just going to be swinging on him. Jean Silva can't afford to be fucking around too much in this fight. He needs to show up and fight hard. I don't think that Arnold Allen is going to fall for his little mind games that he likes to play, because all that shit that he does, like, oh, let's high five, let me shake your hand, and let me try to knock you the fuck out 5 seconds later. It's like, no, man, he's just trying to set you up. He's trying to get in your head. I see Arnold Allen avoiding that kind of shit, but I do still see Silva landing the better shots throughout the fight, countering effectively, like I said, as Allen tries to pressure. Arnold Allen has never been finished, so I do see Silva getting a decision here, hurting Allen on occasions. I do think that throughout the fight, he is going to land the bigger, harder shots. So I'm going Jean Silva here in a competitive back and forth fight with Arnold Allen. So now we've got heavyweight banger, Waldo Cortes-Acosta versus Derrick the Black Beast Lewis. This fight is fucking sick. We have two heavy hitters in the heavyweight division going at it in this one. This fight is going to be decided by who lands first, in my opinion. I think that Waldo, with his speed advantage, is going to be able to get to Derrick Lewis before Derrick Lewis gets to him. Now, I was a fucking dumbass, and I picked Taliesin Teixeira's bum ass against Derrick Lewis, but Waldo Cortes-Acosta is not a can crusher. He's not Teixeira. This guy's proven himself against UFC competition, went to a decision with Sergey Pavlovich, taking big shots throughout the fight, showed his toughness, showed that he has a fucking chin on him. He's got good boxing. He's got good hands. He's got decent defensive movement. So, and he's proven his power at the UFC level, getting knockout wins. He got 5 wins in 2025. Pretty sure a few of those were by decision. A lot of them were by knockout. Knocked out Shamil Gaziev, knocked out Natalia, knocked out Ryan Spann. So, yeah, no, he fought 5 times in 2025. One of them was a decision loss to Pavlovich. One of them was a decision win against Sergey Spivak. But, yeah, TKO'd Ryan Spann, TKO'd Natalia, TKO'd Shamil Gaziev. So, yeah, man, I've got Waldo Cortes-Acosta here. I do think that he's going to be able to land first on Derrick Lewis. Derrick Lewis, obviously, he has that puncher's chance. He has the most knockouts in the UFC. He has massive power in his punches, but Acosta has good power as well. He took Sergey Pavlovich's best punches and it kept going. And it only took Pavlovich 50 seconds to finish Derrick Lewis. MMA math aside, I think that Cortes-Acosta is the hungrier of the 2 fighters. Now this is heavyweight. They're all fucking hungry. But I think that Waldo is going to be able to land shots on Derrick Lewis. And Derrick Lewis is just not going to want to continue. We've seen him kind of, fall over against Sergey Pavlovich, fall over against Tai Tuivasa. I'm not saying that he wasn't hurt. I'm not saying that he wasn't rocked. But it's like Derrick Lewis is just like, nah, I'm not trying to get fucking hit anymore. Let me just kind of fall over. Let me just kind of collapse. Waldo Cortes-Acosta, I don't think that he's going to have that kind of not quit. I don't want to say quit. I don't want to call Derrick Lewis a quitter. But I don't think that Waldo Cortes-Acosta is going to make the choice to be like, you know what? I'm not trying to get fucking punched anymore. I'm rocked. I'm hurt. I'm not saying that Derrick Lewis was not hurt in those fights. He was fucking hurt. He was rocked. He took big shots. But it was kind of like, all right, I got hit. I'm rocked. I'm done. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm going to fight to the death, tooth and nail, and I'm going to keep fucking going. Derrick Lewis, he's getting paid a lot of money. He's very well off. Waldo Cortes-Acosta has like fucking 9-10 kids. He needs this money. He needs this win over Derrick Lewis. I just think that in this point of their careers, Waldo Cortes-Acosta wants it more. Outside of, just getting flatline slept, I think that Waldo is going to be willing to take more punishment throughout the fight in order to get the win. If it's a back and forth war, I think that Waldo Cortes-Acosta comes out on top. Unless, like I said, he just gets fucking put out, just flatlined. So I'm going Waldo Cortes-Acosta by TKO here. I like his hand speed. I like his footwork. I like his chin, and I like his power most of all to get this win over the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis. Now we've got Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. This is a sick-ass fight. Yadong is powerful. Yadong is fast. Yadong is fucking thick and explosive. All right. But yeah, no, I got Sean O'Malley here. But this is going to be a tough fight for Sean. Song Yadong, he's a physical freak. He's strong, fast, explosive, powerful punches, fast kicks. But he's a pretty linear striker. So that kind of does play into Sean O'Malley's game. He does come forward a lot. It does play into, like I said, in Sean O'Malley's game with lateral movement. I can see moments where Song Yadong bullies Sean O'Malley in the clinch. He might be working for takedowns. He's going to be the physically stronger of the 2 fighters. But I think that Sean will be able to break away, get back into space. Song is a fighter that likes to get in there and actually fight. He's not an Umar Nurmagomedov. He's not going to just be content with hugging O'Malley against the cage for 15 minutes to a decision win. He's going to want to knock him out. He's going to want to strike. He's going to want to take risks. He's going to swing big. He's going to go for the knockout, and that will also simultaneously leave opportunities for the counters. Sean O'Malley, he needs to have an excellent performance here to beat Song Yadong. I do think that he has the skills to do it. Skill-wise, he is capable of doing so with his long-range weapons, his counter-striking, his clean boxing. I think that Song Yadong is the best option for O'Malley to get a win here out of all the top 5 guys at bantamweight. He's primarily a striker that likes to come forward, which plays right into Sean O'Malley's game. I think that O'Malley keeps it at striking range and wins a decision here because Song Yadong is tough as fuck. I don't see O'Malley stopping him. Song might have moments and might even hurt Sean, but I think the majority of the fight will be won by Sean O'Malley. I do think that he has the skills to beat Song Yadong here, who is a very tough fighter. He's a very fucking physically imposing fighter for the 135-pound division. He's a freak athlete. He's almost kind of like a Zhang Weili. They're both Chinese, but fucking that's not the only similarity. The fact that they're just so explosive, they're fast, they're strong as fuck. I think Sean O'Malley can get it done, though. I do think that he can, keep the range and land the land clean counters as Song is trying to come forward and close the distance. Now, main event time. We've got Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the UFC interim lightweight title. Ilia Topuria is out with his issues with his lady, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. The pick here is going to be Paddy. He has the jiu-jitsu skill and submissions to exploit Justin Gaethje, who has zero jiu-jitsu. He's got enough speed and power and size on the feet to hang with Gaethje. And, you know, I don't know. I was a Paddy doubter when he first came into the UFC, when he came in and got his shit rocked by Luigi Vendramini. Chin way up in the air, just taking punches. I was like, yeah, this dude is all hyped and overrated. But then he just kept winning. You know, he got the knockout in that fight. The Jared Gordon fight was a robbery, but he just kept winning after that too. He established great top control against Michael Chandler, smashed him to bits with the ground and pound, elbowed the dog shit out of him, just really fucked him up. And, you know, his Gaethje in his last fight, he got put into a inverted triangle by Muay Thai striker Rafael Fiziev, who fucking ended up sitting on his head for half a round. You know, if Paddy's able to get into these, if he manages to get in that kind of a dominant grappling position, I think that he's going to finish the submission. You know, Paddy doesn't have the best traditional wrestling takedowns when it comes to like single legs or double legs, but I feel like with the body lock, he can drag Gaethje down, even just take Gaethje's back. You know, from the body lock, he can just jump up onto his back. You know, he can, yeah, like I said, jump up onto his back from that rear body lock. I can see him fighting to get the rear naked choke from there. I just feel like the disparity in the ground, on the ground and the grappling is just going to be larger than the disparity on the feet. You know, in a kickboxing fight, yeah, I like Justin Gaethje to fuck him up. And in the grappling realm, Paddy definitely fucks him up, like no question. So it's like I would think that a kickboxing match between Paddy and Gaethje would be closer than a grappling match between Paddy and Gaethje. You know what I mean? Paddy can at least survive on the feet with Gaethje, but I don't think that Gaethje can survive on the ground with Paddy. You know, Paddy might get hurt and dropped in this fight, but I think that he can use the threat of his guard to recover like an Oliveira, you know, just kind of be on his back, wait for Gaethje to try to come in and engage on him on the ground. But yeah, I like Paddy Pimblett here. I do think that he gets the win by submission. Maybe he can catch Gaethje on the feet, get a potential club and sub, but I do like that. I have it visualized in my brain that Paddy Pimblett is going to be on the rear body lock. He's going to jump up and, you know, get a standing rear naked choke. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. But yeah, I like Paddy Pimblett here. I just think that the disparity in the jiu-jitsu is going to be too much. Gaethje notoriously does not even train his jiu-jitsu. So I think that Paddy can capitalize on that and take advantage of Gaethje where he is the weakest. Now, Paddy does leave his chin in the air. He could get clipped. He could get hurt, but Scousers don't fucking get knocked out, lad. No, I mean, I think that that's a load of shit, but he's going to fucking get chinned. I don't know, but yeah, I like Paddy here. I don't think that he gets knocked out by Gaethje. I think that he's fast. I think that he's explosive. I think that he can keep himself safe enough on the feet to get himself into dominant or at least advantageous grappling positions and then work to get a submission from there. So we're back. The fights are on Saturday. I'm fucking excited to watch them. I'm excited to be in the live chats and talk to everybody about these fights. But yeah, boys, we're back. UFC's back. No more fucking spending Saturdays just doing other shit besides watching the fights. But yeah, leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about these fights. I don't think I picked a single underdog in this card, which kind of fucking sucks. You know, it just me picking every single favorite, but I wouldn't be picking them if I didn't think that they were actually going to win. So unfortunately, no dogs for your boy on this card. I think that this is going to be a very favorite heavy card. You know, the underdogs are in for a tough night on this fight card. So yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments. We're back. UFC 324, Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje. Shit. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Peace out. See you later. Bada bing, bada boom. Fucking scouser, lad.